They're doing every single thing that they always do whenever America invades a fucking country or has any kind of interest in a fucking country. They unjustifiably invaded Iraq. They knew that it was fucking bullshit. They lied to the entire international community. They went and they bombed the fuck out of Baghdad. They bombed so many parts of Iraq. They destroyed the lives of millions of Iraqi civilians, okay? They used depleted uranium. They used white phosphorus, all of which are literal war crimes. And not only that, but 20 years later, they turned around, openly recognized that it was bullshit. Bush even had the audacity to fucking say, oh man, unjustifiable invasion of Iraq. I mean, Ukraine. Well, Iraq too. Like literally last year, and everybody laughed about it. Highway of Death was not this iteration. For those of you who don't know, Highway of Death was Bush Sr. That's how much we fucked with Iraq, okay? Highway of Death is not even this Bush that did what you're referencing. That's the old Bush. That's Daddy Bush that did Highway of Death. That's not even considered as like a war crime, even though that is precisely a fucking war crime. That was a war crime so gross and so obvious on retreating forces where there were men, women, and children, okay, pregnant women and shit, that we unloaded into, okay? The depleted uranium and its impact is still noticeable in Iraq because it has a higher rate of birth defects in Iraq to this day, 20 years later, than Vietnam. Another country that we absolutely had no business being inside of that we fucking destroyed. So to look at that, this false pretense that this war was justifiable and having the indecency to make it seem like it was an Operation Iraqi Liberation, Operation Iraqi Democracy, Iraqi Freedom, 20 years after the fact, when everybody fucking understands universally that this was completely unacceptable, okay? The fact that you are still running defense for something that George W. Bush himself personally recognized was bullshit, it makes my blood boil. It is so gross. It's so vile. Fuck all of these animals, okay? Every single one of these media demons deserves the absolute worst punishments. I cannot in good conscience sit here and act like these people are not violent, barbarian animals that justified and defended through one of the most popular forms of fucking media, the complete evisceration of the lives of millions of Iraqi people. And that is being like very conservative when I describe this. This is before we get to Abu Ghraib. This is before we get to like wanton punishments, cruel, unusual punishments that no one should have ever been subjected to. This is before we talk about the torture. And I don't even mean the torture that they defended that the CIA did at black sites that they considered a form of enhanced interrogation that was proven to be ineffective regardless, but it doesn't matter because cruelty was the purpose. I'm talking straight up torture that the U.S. military engaged in. There is nothing. These men, and there are a lot of veterans in here that also participated in this, who are fucking tormented by that experience every single day of their lives. But what these people did, what we did at the behest of the military-industrial complex in Iraq, at the behest of like securing natural resources like we always do. What we did back then is akin to Nazi shit, okay? If you want to understand it that way, you can understand it that way, I hope.